I never imagined the day would come when the man I loved, the one I built a life with, would look me in the eyes and say, "Mary, this is for us, for our future." But it wasn't. It was for him, for his greed, his fear of sharing what he called his empire. I was 32 then, full of life, dreaming of more little feet pattering through our home in upstate New York. John, my husband of 10 years, had other plans. He drove me to that cold clinic in Albany, his hand firm on the wheel, his voice steady as he promised it was just a simple procedure. Tubal ligation, the doctor called it. A way to tie my tubes to seal away any chance of another child. John said it was because we couldn't afford more kids, but I knew the truth. It was the property, the sprawling farm he'd inherited from his father, the stocks piling up in his name. He didn't want more heirs to divide it. He forced me into that surgery, lying to the doctor about my consent, holding my hand as they wheeled me in, whispering it was my choice. But it wasn't. And as the anesthesia pulled me under, I felt the first crack in my heart, a betrayal that would echo through decades. Now at 68, sitting alone in this empty house, I finally see it all. The pain, the loss, the strength I buried. Listen, dear one, because this isn't just my story. It's a warning wrapped in whispers of what happens when love turns to control. These days, my life moves in quiet rhythms, like the ticking of the old grandfather clock in the hallway that John brought home from an antique shop in Syracuse. I wake before dawn, the wooden floors creaking under my bare feet, cold as the winter frost outside my window. I shuffle to the kitchen, the scent of fresh coffee brewing. Strong black, the way I like it now, no more sweet cream to soften the bitterness. I fold laundry in the mornings, the soft cotton of my grandchildren's old shirts that I keep in a drawer, though they never visit. The fabric feels worn, like my hands, calloused from years of scrubbing counters, weeding the garden where snow now blankets the frozen earth. I can hear the wind howling through the pines, a lonely sound that matches the silence in these rooms. In the afternoons, I bake apple pies, the cinnamon spice filling the air, steam rising from the crust as I pull it from the oven. But there's no one to share it with anymore. The table sits empty, chairs pushed in neatly, dust gathering on the placemats I embroidered with flowers. Roses for love, daisies for innocence lost. These small acts, these daily chores, they've become my anchors, reminders of the woman I was before everything shattered. Oh, how the memories flood back, unbidden, like rain on a tin roof. I met John in 1978 at a county fair in Rochester. He was tall with that charming smile, promising me the world. We married young, me at 22, him at 25, and I poured my soul into our life. I worked as a schoolteacher, saving every penny to buy that first house. But it was his family's land that became our foundation. The 200 acres of rolling hills, apple orchards, and the big barn where we dance under string lights. I gave birth to our son Michael in 1980 and daughter, Emily, 2 years later. Those were golden days. I'd wake at night to feed them, John's arm around me, whispering how blessed we were. I sacrificed my career to raise them, homeschooling in the mornings, tending the farm in the afternoons. I remember knitting sweaters by the fire, the wool soft between my fingers, each stitch a promise of warmth. John built his business, real estate deals that turned our modest farm into a fortune. But as the money grew, so did his shadows. He'd say, "This is for the kids, Mary," but his eyes would flicker when talk turned to wills and shares. I wanted more children. A big family like mine growing up in Buffalo. But after Emily, John changed. He started locking away documents in his study, the key always in his pocket, a symbol of the control he craved. The betrayal didn't come all at once. It crept in like fog over the lake. At first, it was small things. John dismissing my dreams of another baby, saying we were set. Then came the arguments, his voice rising like thunder. "Why dilute what we've built? The property's mine, Mary. More kids mean more hands grabbing at it." I pleaded, tears streaming, but he wore me down. The day he scheduled the surgery, he gaslit me, saying, "You're hysterical. This is what's best." I lay on that operating table, the sterile smell of antiseptic burning my nose, the doctor's tools cold against my skin. He forced it on me, forging my signature on forms, threatening divorce if I refused. Afterward, the pain wasn't just physical. The cramps, the bleeding. It was the hollow ache inside, the dreams of cradling another child stolen away. Years passed and John's greed poisoned everything. He hoarded the wealth, putting assets in trusts only he controlled, excluding me from decisions. "It's for protection," he'd say, but I saw the truth in his cold eyes. Our children, Michael and Emily, Grew up seeing this, learning his ways. Michael, now 45 with his own family, started pressuring me after John's death 5 years ago from a heart attack. Ironic that his heart failed him. "Mom, sign over the farm shares," he'd say, his wife nodding behind him. "Dad wanted it this way." Emily echoed it, her visits turning to demands, their words like knives. "You're old now, let us handle it." They didn't see my sacrifices. The nights I went without so they could have more, the love I poured out like water from a cracked pitcher. It hit me one snowy evening last winter as I sat by the window watching flakes swirl like lost hopes. The phone rang. Michael, angry because I'd questioned the latest property transfer. "You're being selfish, Mom. After all Dad did." His words echoed John's, and suddenly it was clear. Enough. I'd given my body, my dreams, my years to a man who saw me as a vessel to control, not a partner to cherish. And now my children carried his torch, entitlement burning bright. The realization washed over me like a calm wave. I deserved better. No more tears, just quiet resolve. I acted in silence, my revenge a whisper, not a shout. First, I met with a lawyer in town, the office smelling of leather and old books. I changed my will, removing Michael and Emily as beneficiaries, leaving the farm to a charity for abused women. A symbol of the freedom I never had. I sold off shares quietly, the papers crisp under my pen, each signature reclaiming a piece of me. I changed the locks on the house, the new keys heavy in my pocket, no longer shared. I packed John's old things, his watch, his deeds, into boxes for donation, the cardboard rough against my skin. No announcements, just actions powerful in their stillness. The necklace he gave me on our anniversary, a gold chain with a heart pendant, I buried in the garden under the roses. Love interred, betrayal laid to rest. They came, of course, the climax roaring like a storm. Michael pounded on the door one crisp autumn day, Emily beside him, faces twisted in fury. "What have you done, Mom? This is our inheritance," he shouted, his breath fogging the glass. "Dad built this for us." Emily chimed in, gaslighting as always. "You're confused, old age messing with you. Let us in, we'll fix it." I opened the door just a crack, my voice steady, cold as the wind. "No more. You took after your father, greed over family. The property's gone. So am I." Michael's eyes widened, begging now. "Please, Mom, think of the grandkids." But I shut the door, the click of the lock echoing like finality. Their voices faded as they drove away, leaving silence, a blessed, empty peace. Now I sit on the porch as the sun rises, painting the sky in pinks and golds, waves of light crashing over the fields like an ocean of promise. The house feels lighter, no longer a cage but a sanctuary. I garden again, hands in the soil, flowers blooming where thorns once grew. An empty chair beside me, but I don't feel alone. I've found myself. The broken bowl from our last fight, shattered on the kitchen floor years ago, reminds me. Some things can't be mended, only swept away. Listen, if you're hearing this, remember, dignity isn't given, it's claimed. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors to freedom. Let go of those who chain you even if they're blood. In the end, peace comes not from holding on but from releasing. And oh, how sweet that release tastes, like the first breath after a long dark night.